Hey y'all, welcome to Cornbread and Roses. I'm your friendly neighborhood organizer, Austin, and I'm here tonight with Jason
Hello, comrades.
and Redacted. And
What's up, guys? How's it going?
yeah, we're the most unprofessional podcast in the state of Alabama and maybe the known universe. Yeah, let's get to it. Redacted, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure, yeah. I'm Redacted. I'm from the Birmingham area. I am 31. I've been doing a bunch of local organizing. I've also been putting together a plan to unite the state under one common umbrella. That's ongoing.
Hey, we have to hang together.
Yep.
If we don't, we will certainly hang separately,
Yep.
as they say. But yeah, we're going to start off with some memes, and we're going to add a new segment tonight. So let me run through these memes that and share a little joy real quick. Yeah, I wish I had a better way to share these. But we can look at this photograph. Got a cuts to the heart of things. Every heartwarming human interest story in America is like he raised $20,000 to keep 200 orphans from being crushed in the orphan crushing machine, and then never asked why an orphan crushing machine exists or why you need to pay to prevent it from being used.
Yeah. Oh, that's sharp. That's a lot sharper than I expected it to be. That's.
And since we're been talking about cards and who's got in the last couple of weeks, last month almost, yeah, all our cards are made in China.
China. I can't do it.
China.
It's got to be more bratty teenager. I can't do it. I'm too old.
Well, it really, to me, it sounds like he's saying China. But, maybe that's just me. Like this, these flower shells are shotgun shells loaded with flower seeds instead of bird shot or buckshot. These shells can be shot into the ground to plant flowers. The idea is that instead of taking life back from the world, you give life back. We got police. We heard a noise complaint. What's going on? Shotgun in hand. Gardening.
Making fertilizer.
Oh Lord, he treading. Big black cat. There we go. For all you partisans out there, I'd like to remind you it's not red versus blue, it's capitalist versus EU. And last little one. Hey, friend, I know the world is scary right now, but the future is unknowable and will be determined by how hard we fight for a loving world. So, y'all remember that. Take it to heart. And yeah, that's the memes for the week. We blew through those fast. I feel efficient. I feel very productive in that little 2 minutes there. But Redacted, you got the conspiracy theory for us. You'd like to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being efficient. I mean, getting down to business, So this was given to me by my wife right as I was about to go to sleep. Yeah, the best time. From what I understand, since then, I don't know if everybody's heard about it, but they've recently taken a lot more detailed scans and pictures of the wreckage of the Titanic, right? What she told me about it was that the Titanic was not actually the Titanic. I've heard that one before. The Titanic was the Olympia, et cetera, et cetera. Shows a couple pictures of windows and a boiler room and stuff like that. Can't remember all the details. But the part that caught me was she said the Olympia, the older ship, which the owners were trying to get insurance money for, and et cetera, J.P. Morgan, the owner of the line that owned both the Titanic and the Olympia, sent out the Olympia instead on purpose because he knew that his biggest competitors would be on that ship, thus leading to the invention, thus leading to the creation of the Federal Reserve.
Now,
Yeah.
bold plan, Cotton. Yeah, he somehow convinced his captain, who did the captain not die with the ship, to find an iceberg in the middle of a foggy night. A lot to pick apart on that, but hey, at least we got the Federal Reserve out of it.
I don't know that the iceberg was a part. I think he just assumed it was older and they were trying to get rid of it for whatever reason, et cetera. But it's definitely a thinker. It's definitely something I need to look more into.
Oh man. Jason, have you ever heard that one?
That's a new one on me.
I know, right? There's so many. I will be saying this till the day I die. There's only one conspiracy, and it's the rich are after you.
I love a good conspiracy theory, though. My favorite is aliens. I'm personally a big believer in aliens.
I've got some news for you. Ancient Aliens is coming out with another season, apparently.
Wow. So terrible.
I do like the guy's hair, though.
That's what I was about to say. They're running out of hairspray money.
Just the casual disrespect of these people couldn't possibly have built this stuff. It must have been aliens. Right?
Yeah.
Like people in the past weren't smart.
Exactly. Like it's and it's been like shown, like they've recreated ancient building techniques, and it's just like, simple machines, the 5 simple machines or whatever they are, and levers, and you also when you have tens of thousands of people pushing on something, like, you can move it.
That's what I was about to say. They always go to the pyramids, but I mean, it's amazing what 600 years worth of slavery can do.
I know, right?
Yeah. But it also shows us what happens when workers get together and start pushing on stuff. So, and one of my favorite little facts is like the first strike was like 12,000 years ago at the pyramids with the stone cutters. There's a somewhere, I don't know, what would you call it? Not parchment. Maybe it was parchment. But I think it was carved in papyrus. Thank you. With the recorded strike that the stonecutters did against the pharaohs back then. So
we probably also used parchment, to be honest, but I'm not any sort of Egyptian historian. But they did.
Egyptologist. They got a whole name for it, right?
It is cool, though.
Yes. I endlessly watch the History Channel growing up. Now it's now we got what's that show on there? That island, Oak Island.
Oh boy.
Talking about conspiracy theories. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I missed that. What's it about?
Oak Island is there's this secret buried treasure on Oak Island, and I swear they're on like season 9 too. And like every year there's a little bit more information and a new place to dig, and
So they're looking for this treasure for 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's apparently this like Knights Templar type something like a room or something like that. I think the guy sunk like 60 or 70 million dollars into it at this point.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Man, he could have had his. He could have. Oh my God. If he sunk that much into it, man, I hope his residuals from the show are going to work out for him.
This is why the rich need to be taxed, because they spend their money on the dumbest possible stuff.
Beat
This
me
guy's
to it.
got $70 million on looking for treasure.
On a hobby.
On a hobby, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, beat
That's
me
not
to it.
talking about the yacht that has a yacht inside of it, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like, they just need to be separated from their wealth.
Yeah, it's diseased their minds beyond, anything resembling a human mind.
I read an article a few years ago that was talking about how if you had $1 billion, like you can't spend it. Like you could buy every island that's for sale and barely touch it. You could buy almost anything you can think of and still have plenty more left. Like, and then
there are websites dedicated to it. I've played with them before. You can buy like all the NFL teams 12 times over or something like that. And yeah.
And then to think that, you know, someone like Elon Musk has 200 plus $1 billion instead of a single $1 billion. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah.
It's just absurd. He needs to be separated from that money.
Yeah, like, how about you have to stop at 999 million and you go off to an island by yourself and just live there and tweet. Like that's it. You won capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, we'll give you a pat on the head, a little plaque that says you won capitalism. And then you can rub that in everybody's faces until the end of time.
Yep.
But meanwhile, there's like 1 billion people living on $2 a day or less.
We'll start a Hall of Fame of capitalism. How about that? We'll do that.
Exactly.
We'll get like a little plaque. It'll be we'll make a statue and put the Ozymandias poem right below it.
That's right. There you go.
And it'll be you'll be set, dog. You'll be set instead
enshrined forever, just like you want.
Yeah. Although we were talking about conspiracy theories, I tried to start one this week about where Elon is cloning himself. So didn't get much traction, but I'm trying to figure out what country and or state, Texas, that he's probably cloning himself with all of his buddies.
Well, he soon won't be able to do that in Alabama. The Alabama House passed a law that says you can't do human cloning. They did that last week, so it hasn't been signed yet. It hasn't gone to the Senate yet.
What?
But yeah, one of the bills that came out over the past couple of weeks from the Alabama House is a bill that bans human cloning.
Is that? Do you guys do language on here?
Oh yeah.
All right. What the fuck are we focusing on that for?
Say that
maybe
about
they have maybe they have some inside information, and they're just like, let's let them clone in other states, just not here.
Too close to the lottery.
The bill was set aside by the Senate Judiciary Committee, so it's not going to go through the Senate. So it's unfortunately we're not going to ban. Well, I say unfortunately. So we're not going to ban human cloning this year, but they still tried it.
Oh, maybe he'll do a clone per state then. Maybe that's what we'll see.
Aren't there? I mean, he has enough children. It's like he pressures every employee he has to have his child.
Oh, there's rumors that it's way more than 15 kids at this point.
Right. The world is the most divorced deadbeat dad ever.
I was watching on I think it was Midas Touch the other day, and they were covering this exact thing. They said he just scours Twitter for people saying conservative type things, women saying conservative type things. And then he'll just fucking DM them. Hey, you want to have a child with me? And because one lady, I'll have to get the details. One lady came out about it, was like, hey, this is strange.
Yeah, another way he's exploiting the working class.
Yeah.
What a creep.
Well, enough about our special boy, our bestest boy. Let's talk about the Alabama legislature and what I put second to last week, but I think it's really the third to last week of legislation for this session.
Yeah, they're in the 9th week. I think they've got 2 more, possibly 3 more, but yeah, they're coming to a close for this legislative session.
It's another week. I think what the Montgomery County sheriff is going to get paid $225 large with a $70,000 expense account.
Wow.
So, yeah. And something that consistently blows me away is like this, just right here off the top, HB 549, Rep. Chris Sales, Republican from Greenville, authorizes the Butler County Sheriff to conduct fundraising events such as rodeos, pretty specific, and use the proceeds for any lawful purpose related to the sheriff's office operations. Like, we fund them already, and they can like do fundraisers. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. What taxes? Do they not do taxes in Butler County?
But I think it's so crazy that, like, if it's good enough for one sheriff to do, why isn't it good enough for all the sheriffs to do? Like, all the sheriffs should be able to have their own rodeos or whatever. Like, why specifically Butler County? I hate this lack of home rule in the state.
Yeah.
It's just so odd.
The lack of systemization of our quote unquote justice system. Yeah. But what got hit you in the mouth this week there, Jay?
So there are a few bills I highlighted. One's kind of a fun one. HB 437, sponsored by David Faulkner, establishes a shark alert system for people on Alabama beaches to be alarmed of a nearby shark. It passed 102-0. So,
yes.
Yeah, shark alert. The shark alert.
And that all stems from this Lulu Gribben, 16-year-old who survived a shark attack off the coast. And kind of like the Lake and Heath. I don't know why I said Lake.
Hard to say.
But kind of stemming from children's experiences and whatnot, but also, I'm gonna be pro shark alert system, especially with the warming of the seas, as I expect the shark attacks to go up in the area. But honestly, like, we didn't have like shark warning systems already. This is
Apparently
pretty
not.
surprising.
I've got 2 of them. So that's what we need to get legislation passed. Rich white girls.
Yep.
All right. Let's see.
So
What else do we got?
HB 247. This is a stupid bill. Renames the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. They passed 72-26. There was actually a bit of the Democrats tried to filibuster this and several other bills on the day that this passed, and the Republicans had to pass it through cloture because they have a supermajority in both houses, so they were able to shut down the debate and get this done. So,
Well, I feel like
the Senate.
I feel like if we rename it to anything, let's rename it to the Gulf of Cuba, United States, Mexico.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Yes. But yeah, it's so silly. Like, and they hold up the map saying, "Hey, look at all the states that border it," and it's like, yeah, but it used to be a lot of that used to be territory of Mexico before we just kind of stole it.
There was a history before today.
Right.
Although we are fast moving to the point where history no longer matters and or exists. Which they certainly are working hard on that. I mean, you know.
But what about the Confederate statues?
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't seen a bill to. Well, I swear I saw at one point like a Confederate museum bill or something like that get broached a couple years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But somebody was trying to just like collect all the Confederate statues and put them in one museum. Sure.
I don't see a problem with that.
It's way better than having them spread across everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Which then again, I'm just so.
I mean, I'd rather see them smashed, but yeah, especially having them outside of courthouses. That lets you know what kind of justice you can expect inside.
And the Capitol building, like yeah, exactly.
Fuck slavers. All right.
Yeah. And just as a little aside for you history buffs, April the 9th, a couple weeks ago, was the anniversary of Robert E. Lee surrendering to General Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. So,
man,
I usually observe Surrender Day in some way.
Fun little fact. Lee actually pissed himself at the signing at Appomattox.
I did not know that. Fun. That is a fun fact.
I'm doing something for that next year. 1,000%.
Surrender Day. It's fun.
Don't piss yourself. Whatever you do.
Don't tell me what to do.
Fair enough. So,
all right,
HB 179, sponsored by Mark Gidley of Hokes Bluff, a Republican, allows local boards of education and public charter school governing bodies to allow volunteer campus chaplains to provide support and services in schools. The bill passed 91-4 and goes to the Senate. So this is one of these Christian nationalist bills that are going to get, kids like me harangued in school by religious people. Like we didn't have enough of that. Like every Wednesday they were allowed to come in and recruit for their youth clubs or whatever.
Well, and it begs a few questions, right? Like, what about other types of, religious chaplains coming in and having the right to come in? And also, what training do these folks have?
Right, exactly.
In
the
child
Bible?
Psychology. Yeah.
What else do you need?
I need a whole lot more than the Bible, me personally. I mean,
I don't. The only thing I'm questioning is what does support and services mean? And I understand I'm being pedantic, but I mean, you know what I mean? Because if they just have, like, this is just saying, hey, you can come here, don't recruit, don't, if somebody needs you, they can ask for you, et cetera, et cetera. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, other than like maybe tax dollars funding a certain religion that could get gray. But you know what I mean? That's different than requiring the 10 Commandments to be displayed or something like that, in my opinion.
Well, that's on the list too. The bill doesn't say. It just says to provide services at the request of a teacher. So I guess they decide what services they're going to be performing.
That's it. Yeah, that's going to be my brake light.
So the bill would require a volunteer campus chaplain to complete a recognized chaplain training program and undergo a criminal history background information check before being accepted as volunteer. Would also prohibit any individual who's been adjudicated or convicted of an offense that requires registration as a S offender.
It's fucking something.
Yeah.
I can see like Church of the Highlands taking some advantage of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
A campus chaplain volunteering in this section is not required to be certified by the State Board of Education. Let's see.
Sweet. Let's lower our standards.
So they can't help teach the kids suplexes and RKOs.
I guess so. They could teach whatever. I mean, and this theoretically it's open to everybody, but they're not going to have Buddhist chaplains running around or Jewish chaplains running around. It's going to be evangelical Christians.
It's going to be mainly, but I mean, if the Satanic Temple didn't go belly up and get involved in all that, that would be a perfect opportunity.
There was the Satanic Temple of Alabama ran into some trouble with the national leadership, and they all resigned. So apparently, there is some trouble with the way that the organization is governed.
From what I understand, the main temple had some allegations a while back, so that's why I haven't. Yeah.
So, one little thing about, so like the chaplains that I'm familiar with from the military, and one of their mandates is they have to like be able to provide services in like whatever religion. So very different than this, though. Very different. So let's hope that so not just Christian chaplains take advantage of this. Let's have everybody. Let's do it all on a Wednesday. All the different chaplains show up. They all get in
Duke it
there
out.
and yeah, and let the cream rise to the top. All right.
So the very next bill is HB 7, sponsored by Ernie Yarborough, who is a clown. Would give sheriff's deputies and police officers authority to arrest and detain individuals who are not authorized to be in the U.S. and transfer them to the custody of federal law enforcement. I believe this is the Lake and Raleigh Act.
Yes.
And it passed 74-26, goes to the Senate. So this is there are lots of law enforcement people who oppose bills like this because people aren't going to be calling the police. And then you have, large swaths of ungoverned people, basically, who have to turn to other sources in order to get protection and things like that. So yeah.
You're gonna get like you're gonna the cops are gonna get a phone call from some Gestapo snitch type person that this person ain't supposed to be here based off nothing, and then that person's gonna have to pull out their birth certificate. Like, do you know where your birth certificate is? I fucking don't know where mine is.
Nope. I don't know where my marriage license is, bro. I've been married for 13 years.
So this will cause a lot of issues for sure. And it also puts the burden of, a federal mandate by the current regime onto the state taxpayer.
Yep.
Talk about states' rights and all that shit. Yeah. Okay.
There's a similar bill.
Sorry.
Find it now, but not just HB 7, but there's a similar bill that allows the police to detain people that they reasonably suspect of being in the country illegally. And in practice, I think that's going to mean anybody who looks Hispanic or otherwise not the wrong, otherwise not white, that they're going to be harassed to prove their citizenship. So it's going to be papers, please, for a subset of the population. I can't find it in my list of open tabs.
I think I heard an accent. It's like, yeah, you heard an accent, a California accent. What y'all talking about?
So do they carry the patches with them for the arrest, or do they wait till they get to the center, or you know what I mean? No, maybe they get the tattoos at the center.
It's SB 53. Would require law enforcement to check the immigration status of those they have reasonable suspicion of being in the country unlawfully.
That's gonna get ugly.
That's
guarantee it.
Yeah, it's a bad bill for sure.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, if you want to play the game, let's play the game. Shit. You know what I mean?
I think I read somewhere that only 4 to 6% of Alabama's population was born elsewhere, was born outside of America, compared to 14.4% elsewhere or nationwide. So we are a low immigration state already, and so these immigration bills are targeting a very small sliver of our population.
No, that's as the poem goes, first they came for trans folks, first it came for queer folks, then they came for immigrants. I mean, as an example, I think the Jewish population in Germany around World War II was about 1%, and that's who they went after. So it's once again targeting minority folks that are just trying to live a life,
because it's easy.
Yeah, it's been proven time and again that they pay more into the system, that they are more law abiding.
Yeah, they commit fewer crimes. Yeah, they commit fewer crimes than citizens. Repeated studies have borne that out. So it's all scaremongering based on race.
Relatedly, and we'll get to that in a minute, but relatedly, there's been issues with international students in Alabama. We'll try to get to that in a little bit. So what else we look at? Oh, well, right below that.
HB 178.
Yes.
Sponsored by Mark Gidley, who is a pastor as well as a congressman. Requires K through 12 schools to display the 10 Commandments in a common area. So the bill passed 81-11. There was notably one Democrat who was all in favor of it and was saying things like, we need this back in our homes and our families, and people need these values, as though reading a sign that says "Don't steal" is going to stop people from stealing. I find that to be an absurd claim. It goes to the Senate. They're trying to dodge the obvious constitutional problems in this bill by requiring private funding of each of the 10 Commandments posters. So they're trying to say, oh, well, public money isn't going to it. It was donated, but the school has to display it.
So these schools have to get these. I mean, if they're going to do it, it better not be no damn posters. I want some actual chiseled stone.
No, it's going to be posters.
No, that's weak. That's weak.
Yeah,
I want stone tablets, and one of the kids act up, they got to carry the stone tablets. We could have them do that, all kinds of good stuff.
I have too many tabs open.
Oh, we all have too many tabs open, Jay. All of us right now around the world, all of us.
So the displays must be at least 11 by 14 inches in size and include text saying the commandments are a key part of the Judeo-Christian religious and moral tradition that shaped Western civilization and ultimately the founding of the United States, as well as other arguments claiming their foundational texts.
I'm will show out on this one. That's a hard no for me.
There's no such thing as Judeo-Christian anything. There's no way to get Judeo-Christian and exclude Islam other than just by arbitrarily cutting them off.
Yeah. That's
And
all
I
one
can
God.
tell you that a lot of Jewish people aren't very excited about so-called Judeo-Christian religious views.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was basically a marketing tool that was made in, I don't know, 50s, 60s, something like that.
The word Judeo-Christian.
Yeah.
Oh,
But the legislation, thankfully, does not list any sanctions for schools that do not comply. So they won't face any sanctions for not putting them there. And they have to depend on private donations in order to get them installed. Maryland Lands of Huntsville said some of the commandments may not be age appropriate for young school children. Like, yeah, you're going to explain to a kindergartner what adultery is.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that'll definitely start some conversations, won't it?
do we have a timeline on this one yet? Do we know that yet, or is this like brand new?
So it's passed the House.
Yeah.
So it goes to the Senate.
So they'll have 2 weeks. So it goes to the Senate floor, right? Not committee.
I believe it goes to a Senate committee first, and then it has to go to the Senate written large. So they actually don't have a lot of time left to get bills passed. And the Democrats have been showing a little bit of fight and filibustering bills that are coming through. And so Arthur Orr, who is my state senator, says for the final 7 days of the session, they're expecting to have to use cloture to get anything done, and that a lot of legislation is going to die as a result. So Democrats are using the filibuster to force them to invoke cloture, which slows down the process and limits the amount of bills they can get passed.
So they did this last year as well. They do this every year, it seems, since I've been watching.
So it's amazing, and especially the Senate. Like, there was actually some dust up in the Alabama Senate. Okay, an Alabama state senator threatens a filibuster, but it's claiming that their friends in the House weren't being fair. And they're like exchanging barbs, saying that, the House has passed 277 bills to the Senate's 119. So, although the Senate has sent more bills to Kay Ivey to be signed.
The Senate is supposed to be the saucer that cools the cup, right?
That is such bullshit. But oh yeah, I'm all for unicameral legislatures. Like, I support unicameral everything. There's no point to having two houses in this, in my opinion. Unicameral parliament. But
maybe we'll do a show on some different methods of governance and whatever, like maybe sociocracy. That might be something we talk about.
Yeah, the DSA, the local DSA, is considering, if we can, switching to a sociocratic model. There may be some roadblocks that prevent us from doing so, but we're exploring it. So that's something that the local DSA is up to.
Maybe some hard charger decides to bring a resolution up at the National Convention this year too. We'll see.
So yeah, and here's the other thing too. Like, not only do they have only a few days left to pass bills, they have yet to pass a final education trust fund budget. The Senate hasn't passed a general fund budget. So they've got bigger fish to fry. They absolutely have to get those budgets passed. And so they may not have time to consider bills, especially if the Democrats are committed to filibustering and forcing them to use cloture to get everything done. So that may limit what the Alabama legislature can get through. And that has been the saving grace of the past 2 or 3 years, is like with Altrac, encouraging people to call and, sort of quench the fire in their belly to pass some of these bills. And so they wind up falling off the calendar because they barely have time to to get what they need to get done.
What up, Extra Bulla? Great podcaster. Y'all should check out their show. It's good to have you. See you. Thank you very much for being here. Good to see you, Warren.
So I'm bragging on the Democrats just a little bit. Like they've made some statements that I think are questionable, as they often do when it comes to particular bills. But
especially law enforcement bills.
Yeah, especially law enforcement bills. But they have shown a little bit of fight in the state Senate and are filibustering things and slowing down the process. And a lot of bad bills may not get passed this year because of that. So because they have 7 days left and they have to focus on getting the budgets through. And so some of these bills may fall off the chopping block. They fall on the chopping block or be left on the cutting room floor, or insert your favorite cliche.
Yeah. Yeah. Those budgets that, again, history repeats itself, rhymes, whatever. Last year, same sort of thing happened. Came time to get the budgets passed, and they had to shut down everything to get the budgets passed. So gum up the works by calling, emailing, writing, bothering them every single day. And some of this stuff won't get done, thank goodness. And
yeah, if they, our saving grace is that they're not very competent and they're not very good at their jobs. And a lot of them, when this culture war stuff, they're less committed to it than they are to helping their rich buddies get richer.
Yeah, 15 years ago, a lot of them were Democrats.
Right. And if you call them, and enough people call them and demonstrate that a bill is controversial, it may put out some of that fire in their belly to get some of these things passed. And we've seen that work in previous legislative years, because they always wait to the last minute to pass the budget. The one thing that they're supposed to do.
I think one of the things they tried to do this past year was try to get the budget to the beginning of the schedule, if I recall correctly. But I think that got hampered and clearly didn't happen. But when you're talking to these elected folks, the thing to do is to tell a personal story about how this bill will, affect. Like, for instance, we mentioned a second ago, the point that Marilyn Lands brought up, explaining adultery to a kindergartner, like, hey, I got kids. Why are you going to put this in school and they ain't ready to learn on this type topic, or how it's going to affect you or how it affects your family or your friends? Like, put a personal story on the impact of these bills, because we are emotional animals for the most part. As much as I try to be logical, that don't always happen. Touch their heart,
And it's not going to take much. I actually called Tommy Tupperware's office last week and got cussed at by one of his staffers. Wasn't anything big. She didn't say F you or anything like that. I was calling about a town hall. Figured, I didn't have anything else to do. Call him. Hey, wondering when we could get a town hall done. Organization that I'm with is wanting to schedule this, so I wanted to see what we needed to do to make this happen. She goes, there are no events there. We don't have room on our schedule for a town hall, sir. I said, okay, I completely understand what, we're trying to work with. We're trying to figure out what it is you need from us to make sure this gets scheduled. Same thing. Don't have room on the calendar. I said, okay, I'll tell the organization and we'll, keep calling just to make sure we can get that slot. And she goes, I don't give a damn, sir. There is not a slot on the calendar. There will not be a slot on the calendar. I said, okay, bet. If you want to be an asshole about it, I'm gonna call back tomorrow. I'm going to get 50 of my friends to call back tomorrow. And the day after that, et cetera, to make sure this happens. So they're, it's not going to take much. They're already tired.
They are. And doing those things creates psychological weight.
Yep.
You know, it puts pressure on the staff puts pressure on them, and that's how shit rolls downhill. What's up, Corey? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Hardcore E. Oh, okay. All right. What else we got? Oh, well,
the very next thing
below that one.
7,
yeah.
Sponsored by Scott Stothagen, who is my state rep, prohibits public schools and libraries from hosting drag performances in the presence of children without parental consent. The bill passed 76-9 and goes to the Senate. Yeah, I mean, just completely pointless. Drag shows, having a person in drag, utterly harmless.
Hell, it's an American tradition. Soldiers during World War II were in drag, doing performances and whatnot. Go back to hell, that's pretty much all of acting for hundreds of years, if not close to thousands of years. So, and there's drag performers that are cis het folks. So like it's art, at the core of it.
Yeah, I thought the drag queen story hour was cute. Kind of a fun idea to have somebody read a story to some kids.
It's always
I
good
don't
for kids to
understand
get
it, and
real.
it makes me scared.
Or the opposite. I kind of like it, and that scares me.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like this little picture underneath. We all know who that is. I need to work on a Katie Britt impression where it was like, you smile and say something very earnestly that's weird. And she's with a couple of Democrats. They're all happy to see each other. I don't know how happy I'd be.
That's a good way to put it. She does have kind of a blink twice if you need help demeanor.
Yeah. She's like holding herself hostage. I don't know. But yeah, here we go. And then, hey, there's just a section we just rolling right through. We got,
here's the Don't Say Gay bill,
which is, one of our co-hosts is actually Robert is running against this, Mr. Mac Butler. But yeah, prohibits public school teachers at all grade levels from teaching or discussing gender identity or sexuality. Bill passed 74-15. It goes to the Senate.
So this, is the Don't Say Gay bill expanded from K2 through 12.
Oh man, I didn't. Hold on, let me see here. There we go.
There.
Yeah, I told you we're professional.
Very professional.
So this is another one that might not make it. So we'll be keeping an eye. And if y'all want to check out live feeds during the week, the Alabama channel, nonprofit that seeks to, have transparency. Can you imagine that this is the first year that this has ever happened? Or it might be the second year where our legislature is actually live streamed for all of the sessions, including a lot of the committee meetings and stuff. So if you want to stay in the know as it happens, make sure you have a lot of fucking coffee and you can sit and listen through the discussion that goes on. And maybe next week we'll be seeing a whole lot of filibustering to occur.
I didn't know about that. Thank you. I've got a lot of free time here recently, so that's perfect, Nick. That'll give me more pointed ammo for my events.
It'd probably be a good idea for one of us to sit there and chop up some of those streams for a TikTok channel, but we shall see. We shall see. This one here, right below that, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, that made it on my list too.
By Republican out of Matthews, Rick Reams, I don't know. Rick Rem.
I don't know.
But
sorry for butchering your name, Rick Ram,
yeah,
or whatever your name is.
But we appreciate what you did.
Add Juneteenth as a state holiday. The bill passed 85-4, and I looked up and tried to figure out who the four were. Who are the four sourpusses that just couldn't bring themselves to vote for Juneteenth as a state holiday? But I couldn't find the information on the roll call vote to find out who the four were. I did look.
Good eye. Good looking out. Good checking. Because I was about to ask that very question. But I would like to see, though, that the next state holiday that gets passed is on voting day. You know, it should be a national holiday. It's not. We don't have like the expanded voting that a lot of states do have, because, hey, got to suppress the people. It's a must. And there's some other ones. There's several bills dealing with real estate and duties and contracts and whatnot. What's the next big one on the list, Jay?
The next one I had was SB 5, sponsored by Chris Elliott from Josephine. So this would remove the Alabama Department of Archives and History Board of Trustees authority to self-appoint their own members, and instead it would give the governor appointing authority for most seats, including members from each congressional district. So the Alabama Department of Archives and History has been fighting against all attempts to erase LGBT history from the state archives. And in response, the Senate has voted to pull their ability to appoint their own members and give that to the governor instead. So they're going to force their own people on there so they can remove LGBT history from any mentions of LGBT people from the Archives and History Board. So this is one of these bills that are going to let them try to rewrite history. And I'm sure
they're not. Go ahead.
They won't stop at LGBT people.
You took the words out of my mouth, man.
Right.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Like Black history and other things that they'll call DEI. They'll remove that too.
Yeah, this is the way they do things is they slip their foot in the door on something, and then once they get their foot in, little toe hold, then they start chipping away at the next little thing, just one little piece at a time. If you look back, after FDR got so much passed for working class folks back in the day, they immediately started chipping away at that stuff. And, something I learned this past week or so was how Clinton in the 90s combined, which was one of the problems, deposit or commercial banking with investment banking. He struck down the protection and now it's finance banking. But like that was one of the things that was put in place because of the Great Depression and what have you. And there's been other things from that era that were put in place to protect, workers and the economy from, experience such things as a depression. And it worked quite well. And, they've been slowly removed since then. And, and we're finding out the effects of the fucking around as we speak. But yeah, and shout out to all the archivists out there, all the historians who, keep us in the know. One of the great things about the fact that Mussolini and Hitler did their thing is we can look at that and see it. It's not happening, it's trying to happen again right now, but we can at least look back and see the fallout and the repercussions of all that nonsense. I think Mussolini said it shouldn't be called fascism; it should be called corporatism.
Right.
Oh, look at this, Governor Gilbert. Thank you for that. Seems Jamie Keel, Andy Witt, Jim Carnes, and Shane Stringer voted no on the Juneteenth holiday from my quick research. If we had a budget, we would hire you.
Yes. Well, your research skills are better than mine, even though I only spent like a couple minutes trying to find it. But yeah, we're the most professional broadcast in Alabama, and we prove that every time we get on the air. And so we appreciate that, Governor Gilbert. Maybe you should be on the show instead of me.
Or maybe you should be fucking governor.
I know, right? Yeah, maybe you should be a governor for real. Sortition. That is an idea we can discuss. So next one is SB 13, right under it, sponsored by Gerald Allen from Cottondale. It's a constitutional amendment that, if approved by voters, would require the first stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner to be broadcast or performed at least once a week during school hours in K through 12 public schools. So just North Korea-style forced patriotism. The first stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner is the part that we all know that ends on "Over the land of the free and the home of the brave." I stumbled over the words. It shows you how much I care about the Star-Spangled Banner.
Again,
I should make you sing it, to be honest.
Oh, I don't sing. I can't sing. Could not carry it.
Well, everybody can sing. It's just degrees of, professionalism, I guess, is one way to put that. But everybody can sing, Jay. Everybody can sing. You can't tell me you ain't sing in the shower.
Yeah, but I don't subject other people to it.
I want to play on that. At our event yesterday, I had an older lady, and she was well-meaning. She was, I just wanted to ask why you guys wear the mask, And I've been asked that a lot before, by the red hats and by just older conservative people. But she seemed to be in good faith. Why do y'all wear the mask? I said, well, I'm gonna be honest, ma'am. I wear my mask because I'm fucking ugly, so it's for y'all's benefit.
Yeah, there's a reason why I don't get on the webcam here. Partly because I don't have a webcam, but partly because I look like an ogre, man. Like I am as ugly as sin.
You're too mean on yourself. You do not. You have a lovely jawline and a beautiful smile, Jay.
I haven't. My face is asymmetrical because I used to box and I had my jaw broken.
Well, that's what makes it. That's what I love about it, though. It's got character.
So I can look at my face and see that it's just asymmetrical, and that's just like innately off-putting to everybody. Because I was not a good boxer and didn't, I bobbed when I should have weaved and caught one in the jaw. And when I came to, I couldn't speak or move my face. That was fun. That was a good day. The sweet science.
Yeah, just
I miss it. I got too old to. I'm too old to box now, but I miss doing it. It was a lot of fun.
In college or just recreational?
Recreationally, when I was when I was college age, but I never competed for an official team or anything.
Still, that's more boxing than I've done.
oh man, it's all about the kicks. Just work on that teep kick. That's where you start with.
So the one thing, and this is a thing that I say often about Batman. Like he wears like this $10,000 suit in order to go out and fight villains, or however much the bat suit costs, but he doesn't wear a $20 mouth guard, and that just it makes my teeth grit every time I see him get into a fist fight and he's not wearing a mouth guard. I'm just like, the one piece of protection I would want is the mouth guard, because otherwise you're going to be emptying your bone box real quick.
Yeah, it stops concussions. Like that's
right.
It honestly should be a piece of protest gear. And actually, during BLM, I actually brought a mouth guard with me when I was going out then. But yeah,
that is an amazing idea that I never would have thought of.
Like Batman should be missing a whole bunch of teeth.
Well, maybe he does, and then Alfred can do all sorts of stuff. Maybe he just gets implants right back in.
I guess so. You would have
that.
to.
That would actually I'd love to see that skit. We got Batman in the dentist chair after another fight with Alfred, doctoring him up, putting some new teeth in.
So yeah, don't fight without a mouth guard, kids. It's not fun.
Nah.
I'm missing 2 teeth from where my mouth guard slipped out, and I turned and spat them right out of my head.
Oh,
yep.
Did he make a necklace out of them?
I didn't. I didn't even keep them. I think I threw them away.
Oh man.
Yeah, my opportunity lost. But yeah, I'm missing 2 teeth on my left side, where I had my mouth guard slipped out for a second, and I caught a punch in the face and turned and spat them right out.
That's how quick it is.
Yeah, TKO. Unfortunately, I was still ready to fight.
Oh man,
just the fact that your teeth came out.
Yeah, well, we were playing with pretty strict rules.
Yeah, definitely true, Jolly Green. Definitely true. All right, we're almost done here with the legislative session. There are some phone stuff that came through on, requiring app stores to verify users' age and minors' accounts to be affiliated with a parent account. That's pretty sure that's already a thing. Require a filter on certain internet-enabled devices in Alabama if the user is a minor. So now all parents have to be you're gonna have to learn how to be a internet technician. So good luck with that.
That's what I was about to say. I don't like that at all.
But yeah, that about rounds it up. Last little one here. Last 2 would remove electronic registration information center as a voter registration database that Alabama must use to identify voters whose addresses may have changed. That seems like some voter suppression shit.
It is. It absolutely is. So it basically, if you're someone who moves often, that is, you're a poorer voter, now the database they can check to verify your registration status because your voting address changed is not available to them. So it'll disqualify you as a voter. So this is going to favor people who, own their homes and have stable residences, as opposed to people who, live in an apartment and might change apartments every few years.
Which is about the majority of Alabamians.
So yeah.
Corey here had a quick thought about HB 244. So if a teacher identifies a student by preferred pronoun instead of that, which is identified by sex, what is the punishment for the teacher? They go to jail? It's a good question. We actually have an article lined up to go a little bit more in depth on that. I did not read the language of the bill. Jay, do you have some insight?
I'm looking at the bill real quick. Let's see. Prohibit pre-K 12 the K through 12 teachers and education employees from referring to students by pronouns inconsistent with the biological sex at birth. No teacher may intentionally address a student by a pronoun or title that is inconsistent with the student's biological sex at birth. It doesn't specify a punishment. It just says they may not.
Okay.
It doesn't even say that.
So now the kids got to carry around their birth certificates too, huh?
I guess so.
I would assume that would be civil. I wouldn't assume that would be a jail thing. But then again, you know.
So probably what it means is that the teacher can be disciplined or dismissed by the school board or by the principal.
Sorry, I'm taking some of my dailies.
The state board of education shall adopt rules for the implementation and enforcement of this section. So yeah, they're subject to dismissal probably.
Yeah, that'll be another thing, because then some little snot-nosed kid could probably just talk, say, "Oh, I heard them say such and such," and back to the old he said, she said rigmarole. And the last one here, SB 158 would prohibit using foreign national driver's license as a form of identification when voting.
I thought we already did that.
If you're not a U.S. citizen, what? What are y'all talking about? So if a U.S. citizen gets a foreign driver's license, they can't use it to vote? Or is it that they think that people are flying here or driving here with their foreign driver's license voting? It's back to this old canard, that we have illegal immigrants, quote unquote, voting in elections. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for that. Got another thought here from Corey. Also, do teachers regularly put up flags now? It seems like they are saying you cannot put up a flag that is associated with gender. What are some examples of flags that cannot be put up? So they do put up flags. There are classrooms definitely with pride flags in them, and probably Juneteenth flags and some other things like that. But as far as go ahead.
There are flags for people who are non-binary. There are flags for every gender you can think of. There's the ace flag. So for every gender and every orientation there's an associated flag. Some of them have questionable design decisions, but they even look pretty nice. I love the ace flag.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
And the NB flag.
Yeah.
So if it's a poster, is that fine?
Probably not.
But you know what I mean? Flags are cloth. Flags are from a pole, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I can put up a poster of that same thing. It's not a fucking flag, is it?
No. You should be a lawyer. We like this line of reasoning.
I appreciate it.
Wouldn't the state have to give a picture book of flags that are unacceptable? It seems so, Corey. It does seem so.
Well, the bill says flags that are associated with a particular gender or orientation. So the courts would have to interpret what that means.
I got an idea. We need to start inventing a whole bunch of flags, and just every day we do another 50 different flags, and you can't even keep up. There's so many goddamn flags to fly.
It's like the joke that every time somebody complains about genders, we add 2 more to the list of genders.
Buckle up, Chat GPT. I'm coming for you.
That's right.
Oh
Man, don't even mention AI. I had a bad AI experience. Well, no one cares.
Oh, horseshit. We need to learn more about our future overlords.
My job is mandating that I use AI, and I'm seriously thinking about putting in notice as a result.
Why?
Because they want, so basically, first of all, so I write software for a living, and they're going to make it to where we have to use the AI to check the code, and then I have to make changes based on what this AI has dared to say to me about my code. And the ultimate goal, which may not be technically possible yet, but the ultimate goal that my manager has said is that the AI will write the code and we'll just review it.
Yep.
And so we're helping train it to say what good code is, so it can replace me as a coder. And I'm just like, I'm not having it.
Is your company hosting the AI?
So that's the question, right? Like our company has strict rules about the data of our customers and things like that. Like, and it has to go through InfoSec, and so I'm sure we'll be told not to pass any customer data into it, because we work in a field that is especially amenable to, or especially it needs to be secure.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I think we need to do. Is I think we need to build an AI that poisons other AIs. Like, I know it's not good for the environment. I realize there are flaws in the plan, but garbage in, garbage out. Because I certainly have wanted to just feed Grok just copious amounts of bullshit to destroy it. But it also seems to hate Elon, which I kind of like about it.
Yeah. It's just like all of his other children.
Hey. Oh, man.
This man cannot make anything that likes him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bless it. Bless his heart.
I got hands for Elon Musk.
Yeah. Make sure you wear that mouth guard.
Well, I meant metaphorical hands, but yes, also wear your metaphorical mouth guard.
So yeah,
there are a couple of bills in committee that I kind of wanted to highlight.
Let's do that before we talk about the protests this week and whatnot.
There's HB 246, which I'm sorry, I don't think that's one. So there's a bill that approves giving educators immunity for misgendering students. So it's not just they're prohibited from it, but the public educators get legal immunity, and students immunity from discipline. And students get immunity from discipline for using a person's legal name and pronouns aligned with their reproductive organs. So there's that. I think we kind of talked about that. Alabama Senate Committee approves religious instruction policy mandate. So this is a bill that requires school boards to adopt policies on whether to allow students to leave for religious study and give them academic credit for it. And there is an organization called LifeWise that is chomping at the bit to provide that religious education. And it's evangelical Christian, as you might imagine. Proposed Alabama bill would ban buying soda with food stamps. The guy, it's Mac Butler, of course. He says that he's doing it to highlight the role that Big Sugar has over legislation and over, but he's making this bill that targets the very poorest.
Yeah, exactly. Poor folks can't have fucking nothing. Like, sugar is bad for you. Sugar can be an addiction, but I don't think this is the way to go about
I don't
trying
think so.
to make things healthier.
It's not. Please.
And I talk about, hell, in Europe, Subway bread is labeled as I can't remember the exact phrasing, but
It's labeled
Subway,
as dessert, I believe.
yeah, it's got so much damn sugar in it. So
wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense. It's not about being healthy. It's about punishing black people for being on food stamps.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be real.
I mean, exactly. So, Alabama House Committee approves constitutional amendment on school prayer. This would be the constitutional amendment, so we'll get to vote on this. So, it requires local school boards to adopt a policy allowing employees and students to voluntarily pray in school. Original version of the bill specified that the prayer must be Judeo-Christian, so you couldn't have the Satanists leading a prayer. But that requirement has been removed. So now they're supposed to facilitate school prayers theoretically for everybody, but people aren't going to be treated equally under the law. The legislation also requires schools to start each day with the Pledge of Allegiance and lose 25% of state funding if they don't.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna pull my Jordan Peterson here. Well, it depends on what you mean by the word facilitate.
I know,
right? As the president and the regime, also try to lawyer up, facilitate regarding that Maryland union worker they got down in El Salvador. But Corey here brought up an excellent contradiction. So wait, if you misgender a student, but you also cannot identify a student by a preferred pronoun, is that not a contradiction?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Or if you cannot identify a student by their preferred pronouns, but you get immunity for also misgendering a student, doesn't these two laws contradict each other? Hey, are you trying to apply logic? You will oftentimes be frustrated, as we have found over the last several weeks of starting and doing this podcast, because the contradictions run deep, my dog.
It was
deep.
A pro-bullying bill, basically.
Well, I guess it's time for us to start misgendering all our legislators.
I have stuff on Alabama prisons too, but I think I'll save that for next week. Start misgendering them. See how they like it. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have to call you sir or ma'am.
No.
I don't know.
Well, if we can ever fucking see them, that would be fun.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know if y'all saw that video, Nancy Mace out in South Carolina.
I saw that. Dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, well.
Ooh, I missed that.
Hey, what? Nancy, I agree with you. Fuck civility. Let's go. Let's go.
Right.
But real quick, we got maybe a couple of articles we'll highlight, but I redacted. We had an event up here, an event in support of in Huntsville for Mana House. It sounded like a few hundred folks showed up, and they got about 5 carloads worth of goods. It was done over at the Back 40 country club, or not country club, the Back 40 like beer garden thing.
Yeah.
Some Nazis showed up. That was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They, so y'all keep your eyes out, head on a swivel.
I'm really surprised we haven't had any. I haven't seen any counter protesters at ours.
Yeah. Good.
So that's kind of scary. Y'all keep out.
They're we're many, they're few.
Indeed.
But how did it go down in Birmingham for you? I saw down in Mobile a couple weeks ago, the April 5th one, there's around 400 or so, and it looks to be there is about 700 this time down in Mobile. So things are growing. I haven't been able to get the exact numbers for this past Saturday, but I think we mentioned that over 5 million people showed up on April 5th. But how did it go down in Birmingham?
Birmingham was great. Birmingham was by far our most organized event so far. Had a couple different food trucks hanging out. Had an aisle of tables for different organizations. Birmingham DSA was there. Had reps from the new part. I don't know that I can go into detail about it, but we're trying to, not we, but they're trying to form a new political party, a third party in Alabama. They were there. Energy was good. Energy had a, pro sound set up, bunch of people walking, a couple people in like Revolutionary War outfits, which were amazing. But yeah, overall, good turnout, good, clean fun. And I look forward to the next one, which I understand is the first, I believe, right now. We're going to do a May Day event.
Yeah, we're planning one up here as well, and I'm pretty sure across the state they're being planned. But yeah, May 1st, International Workers' Day, the first Labor Day. We get two in this country, but the second one was try to, throw shade on the first one. So
yep.
Y'all remember that, because our struggle is international. All these CEOs, oligarchs, billionaires, all their shit is across the world, and our work is across the world as well. Our brothers and sisters and cousins and family is all the working people everywhere.
And it's not new by any means.
It certainly is not. We are in a time-honored tradition of fighting rich folks. Like I said, it goes back 12,000 years at least. But yeah.
Can you go over that again, just to kind of drive home that story?
Well, yeah, about 12,000 years ago, the stonecutters at the pyramids, they went on strike. It was captured in hieroglyphics. I don't know if it was on stone or parchment or papyrus. My bad. But yeah, the first recorded strike was about 12,000 years ago. So
if they can do it
going, yeah. Can you imagine trying to organize back then without any of the organizing tools we have today? Hell no. Maybe it was easier. I don't know.
And keeping it under wraps. Yeah, exactly.
Right. But a few things I'm going to just run through real quick, a few headlines before we head out. Let's see. Chicken plant under investigation for 165 layoffs last month. Lawsuit filed against them. The Alatrade Foods in Phoenix City. And I think they have a good number of immigrant workers, and they also have a couple other locations, but they are getting sued for laying off people, in Albertville and Boaz, and they are getting sued. So thank you, lawyers. I might talk some junk about y'all every now and then, but there's been a few individuals that were lawyers before they started helping folks. So appreciate you. And in contrast and contradiction to the Don't Say Gay bill, among others. Strip club owner opened an LGBTQ nightclub with eyebrow raising sign. Oh, let me grab my pearls up here in downtown Birmingham. Climax.
Ooh.
So maybe we do do an event over at Climax. But they're to open in April in downtown Birmingham. So yeah, set to open April 25th, 226 18th Street North. And they've got social media. I'm sure some of y'all savvy folks can find their social media. And this is just the beginning. That's what we like to hear.
That would be a great place to do a sit-in at. Not a sit-in, but like a walk-in, buy-in type, mass support type thing.
Oh, I feel you on the misspeaking stuff. Trust me. Hey, Alabama, most biodiverse state in the United States, and beautiful place. And again, Alabama Trail has been named the best in the country for a third time. This is down south of us, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores to Orange Beach to Gulf State Park, and rated number 1 in the country on USA Today. So if you ever get a chance to go visit, you got a nice little spot down there. It's springtime and summer is coming. So you got to have joy in your life to be able to keep the fight up. So if you can, maybe go visit some of our beautiful state parks before, I don't know, they harvest all the trees on the some bitches. Yeah, we mentioned the House passes the bill to expand the Don't Say Gay law through 12th grade, and we mentioned the Lake and Riley Act bill. And one other thing here. Let's see here. I'm getting quicker at this, ain't I, Jay? Auburn says 15 international students and campus personnel had visas revoked. 15 Auburn University community members had their visas revoked this week, according to university officials. Jennifer Wood Adams, Executive Director of Public Affairs at Auburn, said in a statement that the visas were revoked by the Department of Homeland Security's Bureau of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, folks, and Student and Exchange Visitor Program, not the university. She said the university immediately reached out to those with canceled visas. The university did not identify the students. Auburn's Office of International Programs immediately contacted each affected individual to provide assistance and support. Our international students and personnel are valued members of our campus community. We recognize the significant impact of visas or status revocation will have on them and the university. And, the brain drain continues. The statement also said the university will comply with all laws and cooperate with authorities. It's a fluid situation. The university will monitor it closely and assess its implications. According to the AP, at least 1,024 students at 160 colleges, universities, and university systems have had their visas revoked or their legal status terminated since late March. Alariza Duarte, a University of Alabama graduate student from Iran, was detained in March by ICE, according to Crimson White, UA student news outlet. Duarte was detained and denied bond on Thursday and now faces deportation. So we've got some organizing to do for those folks. And I'm curious if the Alabama Coalition of Immigrant Justice is in contact with them. But yeah, and one last little thing. Like to two little things. One, there's a commentary by Allison Berkowitz. Cutting library funding means cutting lifelines for communities. Don't know if y'all know, but Fairhope, they are fighting back against all the nonsense that Moms for Liberty, Eagle Forum, all these Nazis who want to burn books and say that queer folks don't exist and all this nonsense. But it's a nice little piece if you get a chance to read it. And, you know, growing up, the library, it was and still is one of my favorite places on earth. I had such just fond memories of the like almost, you know, I find the place spiritual. I don't know how to put it otherwise, but you know, libraries are easily one of the best public institutions that we have here, and they're worth fighting for, and we must stand up and fight for them. You got to hold on to what's good and fight for it, and libraries are definitely one of those places. And I do hope to see the library workers start standing together and figuring out a way to fight. And not that they haven't been fighting, but fight in such a way as to stop this madness. And last little bit, an opportunity abounds. Representative Corey Harbison resigns from the Alabama House.
Ooh.
Corey Harbison from
After
Republican
not
from
showing up
Coleman.
all year.
Yeah.
He did not show up. Like he was completely absent from the. This says like the article says he was largely absent. He was completely absent from the 2025 legislative session.
I will say his style if you're ever going to write a resignation letter, something along these lines: Mr. Speaker, please accept this as formal notification of my resignation from Alabama House District 12. So you're leaving your job. That's about all you need to do. You know, you don't need that 2 weeks notice. But it seems like he's been gone for 3 years. It's the way I was reading it. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Would he have been much more effective if he were there?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. But a special election has not been declared. The district is strongly Republican. Harbison took over 85% of the vote in his re-election campaign in 2022. So let's see what I don't know if independents can get it together quick enough for this, but there is an opportunity that maybe the Democrats can take advantage of. We shall see. We shall see. But nothing has been set as to a date for the primary elections and the replacement election, or what have you call it. And, yeah. It is wild, Corey. It is. But and I got a feeling he ain't the only one. That's just me, though. That's just me. You know. But yeah, folks. I think we come to a stopping point. And it's been good having everybody. Thank you, Redacted, very much for being a guest tonight and for your work in the community. And can't wait to see your furthered efforts and what you keep doing in the community. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that we're all working on a real grassroots energy here across the state. And I think we've got more potential now than we have seen or might ever see again in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And And I might be hitting you up every week for a conspiracy theory, so just be prepared for that.
Oh, let's go. All right, bet. That's my shit. Thanks, guys.
But anything you'd like to say before you go, before we head off?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say what's already been said in fewer words. I mean, like I said, it is our responsibility to capitalize on this energy, right? What what the red hats don't seem to understand, because they don't do abstract thought very well, from my experience, is that they have used their nuclear option. We are seeing their nuclear option. This is their extinction burst, right? Their last ditch effort to grow one more leaf and save themselves. But the pendulum of politics carries momentum, right? You swung it all the way to the right. Well, guess where it's going to go afterwards? So that's kind of my silver lining I hold on to. And if not, then I'll make sure I'm not around to see it anyway. So,
well, we're going to try to make sure everybody makes it. That's might be tough road ahead, but I think it's doable. I think it is, and as long, safety in numbers, folks. But history has shown you pull one way, it goes back the other. We just got to make sure, like you said, we capitalize on the energy of the working class and think not just this term in these 4 years, but beyond it, because there's a whole world to fight for. Jay, you got anything?
Well, I had plenty of other articles to get to, but I guess that's part of having a show, is not being able to get to all of your show prep stuff. So it's probably better to leave them wanting more. So, final thoughts to wrap up with, other than I appreciate Redacted coming on. It was nice to meet you, and I hope you'll be on again.
Sir, you sure
you had a lot of fun? I appreciate you guys.
Well, you sure there's no final article you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I'm good.
I might speak now, week. Forever hold your peace.
I'm holding my peace.
All right then. Well, as we say around here, like, comment, subscribe, and share. But yeah, as we like to say around here, all the power to all the people. We the people break our chains together. Solidarity forever, y'all.
Solidarity forever.